Well, folks, I made a decision after a long time. I've been in my life, as you can see, I'm not a young man. Well, I'm not an old man neither, so don't get any ideas. But I've made in my life some decisions as I've been going through work, going to college. You'll get my backstory as we go on, but this is kind of like the pilot episode of what I've decided to do. I've been around for a long time. Just the world of business, the world of logistics, the world of recruiting, contracting. I've seen a lot. And in that time, one thing has really jumped out at me. And there's a lot of debate that surrounds it, a lot of, oh, well, this or that. And I've realized, kind of as I'm sitting here, stuck in traffic, right? What causes traffic? Ultimately, what happens is we have an ordered rule of society, and when you're not moving, the person behind you is not moving, the person behind them isn't moving. And so what typically happens in a traffic scenario is, because of an accident or a breakdown or something like that, somebody is not moving, and due to the fact that they're not moving, either, moving forward or moving on out of the road, one of the two, nobody else can move quickly either. And this type of congestion can last for a really long time. So when you look at business as a decision, okay, when you're going to start something, when you're going to do something, and this isn't a teaching point, this is just a pilot, you have to make a decision to move. If you don't make a decision to move, then everything that comes after you, everything that comes after that lack of decisiveness, is going to be congested for years and years and miles, and nobody else can do anything around you because you're sitting there going, I want to be involved maybe, but I don't want to, do anything, or, should we do this, or where's the best place to put money? Should I do this, or, and there's these gray areas, there's these points of confusion, and when you lack decisiveness, nothing else happens. Nothing else happens. And so, for a long time, I've been very knowledgeable about business. I've engaged in business. I've handled, 70 plus direct reporting subordinates. I've handled, multi-county distributions. I've handled $64 million of highly regulated equipment going to, international, China, Pakistan, Canada, Mexico. I've been, a buyer in situations where I'm buying internationally. I've been, really high-profile type of things where, if I screw up, people lose their jobs, or, people's houses blow up, or, high stakes game, okay? But here's something else to understand about me, being authentic. While I play the high stakes game, and I've been intentional and decisive, I've always been in some capacity an employee. I was running someone else's business, or, a contractor for, someone else doing something else. And I've always also had something on the side, I've always been, kind of trying to build something or do something so I could leave a legacy for my children, because you can't pass down a job at the end of the day, but you can pass down a business. And so I just got to this point recently where, again, high-profile role, they did some restructuring, they did some corporate, buyout stuff, and they're like, okay, we're going to globalize this and centralize that. And, they kind of approached me and said, hey, do you want to, do this or this? And I was like, well, I really don't want to do that. And so the end result was we parted ways amicably, in good relationship. They paid me, Oh, here's the deal. Authentically, this isn't the first time this happened to me. And in our new economy, people call it the gig economy, whatever. The reality is the 40-year-old company lifespan, let me get to a pension, I'll stay here and be loyal for, 3 or 4 decades. It doesn't exist. It doesn't exist. Even though the employees that I know are hardworking and intentional, great. The economic environment isn't friendly to that anymore. Cost and automation absolutely trumps loyalty and longevity in an employee's life, most especially if they work with systems and computers. If your job involves a keyboard and a screen, you sometimes think you're safe. That's absolutely not true. That's easier for a robot to do. But we're not having a discussion about automation right now. And I'm going to hit a lot of major points. I'm going to talk about a lot of things in the course of events as I go down the road. Because here's the decision I've made. After all of this looking and searching into it, I've decided I no longer want to give my life and my soul to some corporate overlord or someone else's business or dream. I'm done. It's time to be decisive. And I've made a decision to actually not take my abundance of wisdom and background in all of these things, logistics and international shipping and things like that. After, looking around the marketplace, I just realized if I'm going to go find another job, you know what's going to happen? The same thing. The same thing. I'm going to get outsourced, I'm going to get downsized, I'm going to get whatever. And even if I don't, I'm going to be in a corporate arena that says that's cool and justifiable. That, ruining people's financial futures, that's an okay thing to do. And I'm done. I'm done agreeing with that philosophy. So what I've decided to do is make a decisive decision, not just to go into business for myself, that's the thing, but to prove that anyone can do it. Anyone can do it. So in order to do this, I'm going to start out with some basic amenities that reasonably everyone in America has if you have a job right now. Okay, I have my car, I have my cell phone, and that's about it. A little spending money. But at the end of the day, in my opinion, in my belief, if you're at rock bottom in America, i.e. you're homeless, you don't have a cell phone, you don't have a car, you don't have any of that, I think it's still viable, honestly. But I'm going to get there. I'm going to start as low to the ground as possible, just to prove to you it can be done. Just to prove to you that this can be done. So here's basically the mantra, and here's the way I'm going to handle this. So every day, I'm going to post just directly to YouTube, no cuts, no edits, something similar to this, which is going to be a conversation about what went on that day and some of the philosophy behind, kind of what's going on in life and in the process of, developing into this idea, this something new idea. My goal is to kind of create a situation where it's a video record of my, success or failure, whatever, in progressing and doing what I'm doing. I think this is important. I think it's good that you see this because I don't know if you remember the story of Teddy Roosevelt and the Rough Riders as they took San Juan Hill, but pretty much his mantra, his intention behind what he was doing there was to take the hill, and regardless if he got shot or, whatever, he was going to take the hill just to prove more or less that it could be done. And that's where I'm at. That's where I'm at right now. I'm tired, honestly, of not being completely intentional. So what we're going to do is we are going to open up shop. I'm going to explain how I'm going to do everything at a later date, probably the next day after that, whatever. And we're going to start at zero, or pretty much next to zero, just to prove that it can be done. Just to show you, hey, here's the journey from nothing to the top. And so every day at the end, it's kind of my tagline or whatever, there's no sponsorships, there's no advertisements, there's no whatever at this point. I might monetize the channel, but that would defeat the purpose, I think. I think it would defeat the purpose to monetize it, so I probably won't. And here's what we're going to do. Every day I'm going to sign off very much in the same way. I'm going to say, hey, I'm taking the hill, one way or another. And we're gonna win. We'll die trying.